I was drowning. Seriously, there's no other word for it. Every single month felt like holding my breath, just waiting for the next wave to crash. My paycheck would land in my bank account, and poof, it was gone within hours. A ghost, completely devoured by credit card minimums and a student loan payment that never, ever seemed to shrink. I was working harder than I ever had in my life, but I was just getting poorer. The stress wasn't just in my head, it was a physical weight. It was the reason I couldn't sleep, the permanent knot in my stomach, the low humming anxiety that colored every part of my life. I was buried under more than $72,000 of debt, and I felt completely, utterly hopeless. And the gurus? The so-called experts? They all chirped the same advice. Just budget better. Cut out the lattes. But budgeting wasn't my real problem. I had a budget. I knew exactly where every dollar was supposed to go. The real problem was that my plan was broken. It wasn't built for a real person living in the real world. The solution, the thing that actually worked, was a simple but powerful strategy I'd never heard a single soul talk about before. When you first get serious about debt, you hit the internet. You read the blogs, watch the videos, and you're immediately smacked with two big ideas. First up, the debt snowball. The concept is simple and feels good. You list your debts from smallest to largest and go all out on the smallest one first. You get a quick win, a little hit of dopamine that's supposed to keep you going. And I tried it. I really, really did. I threw every extra dime at my smallest debt, a lingering $300 balance on some store credit card. A couple of months later, it was gone. For a second, it felt incredible. I did a little victory dance, but then I looked at the rest of my debt. That feeling vanished. While I was busy crushing that tiny, insignificant debt, my high-interest credit cards and my monster student loan just kept growing. The interest alone completely wiped out the progress I'd made. It felt like I'd brought a water pistol to a forest fire. That small win wasn't nearly enough to stop me from feeling totally discouraged. So I switched teams. I decided to try the debt avalanche. This is the one every financial expert swears is, mathematically superior. You list your debts by interest rate, highest to lowest, and attack the highest rate debt first. You pay way less in interest over time. You get out of debt faster. It makes perfect sense on paper. But in the real world, it was a train wreck for my morale. My highest interest debt was a $15,000 credit card with a soul-crushing 24% APR. I started throwing all my extra cash at it, but the balance barely moved. It was like trying to bail out the Titanic with a teaspoon. After 2 months of fighting like hell and seeing almost zero progress, I just gave up. I was exhausted, demoralized, and convinced that maybe I was the problem. Both of the proven methods had failed me. I hit rock bottom. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, just staring at a pile of bills. You know the ones, statements printed in angry red ink with bolded minimum payments that feel like a joke. I wasn't just in debt, I was paralyzed by it. I had no idea what to do next. And in that moment of pure despair, something clicked. I realized I wasn't reacting to every bill the same way. Some I could look at with a sort of detached frustration. But there was one, a medical collection for $1,200 that made my blood boil. It wasn't my biggest debt. It wasn't my highest interest debt. But it was the one causing me the most emotional damage. The collection agency was relentless. Their calls were aggressive, their letters were threatening. Every time I saw their name, my heart started pounding. They were a source of constant, invasive stress. And that's when it hit me. What if the gurus had it all wrong? What if getting out of debt isn't a math problem first? What if it's a psychological war? The snowball and avalanche methods are logical, sure, but they totally ignore the most powerful piece of the puzzle: human emotion. They don't account for the fear, the shame, and the anxiety that debt creates. My breakthrough was realizing that step one wasn't to attack the smallest debt or the highest interest debt. Step one was to silence the loudest, most painful voice in my head. From that realization, I built my own system. You won't read about it in a finance textbook, but it's the only thing that actually worked for me. I call it the momentum stacking method. It's a hybrid approach that fights the psychological battle first, so you have the strength to win the mathematical one later. It's just 4 simple steps. Step 1. The anxiety audit. For a minute, forget about spreadsheets that only care about balances and interest rates. Grab a piece of paper and list all of your debts. Next to each one, I want you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, based on how much emotional stress it causes you. Which creditor harasses you the most? Which bill makes your stomach drop when it shows up? Which debt feels the most humiliating or infuriating? Be brutally honest. This isn't a financial audit, it's an anxiety audit. The goal is to find your single most painful debt. Step 2. The momentum target. Now you find every single spare dollar in your budget and you unleash it on that one debt, the one that scored highest on your anxiety audit. Don't spread your money around. Don't worry about the other bills besides making minimum payments. You become obsessed with wiping out this one source of pain. For me, it was that $1,200 medical collection. It wasn't the logical choice, but getting rid of it was about more than money. It was about taking back my peace of mind. When you pay this debt off, you get a massive psychological win. It's not just a small balance that's gone, it's a bully you finally kicked out of your life. This victory gives you real, unstoppable momentum. Step 3. The avalanche stack. Once that toxic debt is gone, you'll feel this incredible sense of relief and control. You've proven to yourself that you can do this. Now and only now are you ready to switch to the math. Resort your list of remaining debts the traditional way, from the highest interest rate to the lowest. This is your debt avalanche. Then you take the entire amount of money you were throwing at your first momentum target and stack it right on top of the minimum payment for your new target, the one with the highest interest rate. This is where your progress explodes. You're combining the emotional high from your first win with the mathematical power of the avalanche, creating a force that can't be stopped. Step 4. The consolidation checkpoint. The final step is just a periodic review. After you've knocked out another debt or two using the stacking method, or maybe just once a year, you press pause. This is your consolidation checkpoint. Look at what's left and ask one simple question. Can I make this even simpler and cheaper? This is the time to look into consolidating debts into a personal loan with a lower interest rate, or maybe moving a high-interest card balance to a 0% introductory APR card. This isn't your first move. It's a strategic play you make when you're already winning. It can lower the total interest you pay and cut down on the number of bills you have to manage, making the home stretch even smoother. The impact this had was immediate and profound. Within 2 months, that harassing medical collection agency was paid in full. The phone calls stopped. The threatening letters vanished. The sense of relief was just indescribable. It was a bigger motivator than paying off a tiny store card could ever be. That win fueled me. With that momentum, I switched to the avalanche stack. I took all the money that had been going to the medical bill and aimed it right at my highest interest credit card. And, because I wasn't feeling beaten down anymore, I actually stuck with it. The balance started to drop, slowly at first, then faster and faster. In 18 months, I had paid off over $25,000 in credit card debt. The student loan that once felt like a life sentence was now just another target on my list. But the real results weren't just numbers on a screen. The real change was in my life. That constant humming anxiety was gone. I could sleep through the night. I could actually make plans for the future without a dark cloud hanging over me. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was building a life. Let me tell you, the silence that debt leaves behind when it's finally gone is the most beautiful sound in the world. This is the method that broke the cycle for me. It's about fighting smarter, not just harder. So I want to hear from you. Your first step starts right now. Down in the comments, tell me which one of your debts causes you the most anxiety. You don't have to share the amount. Just name the bully. Just writing it down is an incredibly powerful first step in taking away its power. And if you're serious about this journey and want more strategies that the gurus won't tell you about, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. For years, I let my debt define me. It dictated my choices, my emotions, and my future. The biggest lie we're told is that debt is just a numbers game. It's not. It's an emotional war, and you need a strategy that puts your mindset first. The momentum stacking method does that. It gives you that critical early victory against your worst enemy and then uses that momentum to win the entire war. You are not your debt. You are not your past mistakes. You are absolutely capable of climbing out of this hole, no matter how deep it feels. I was drowning, totally submerged, and I found my way back to the surface. If I can do it, I have zero doubt that you can too. Start today. Identify your bully and take your first real step towards freedom.